very hesitant to call them Philly cheesesteak calzones. If you call anything Philly cheesesteak and it's not 100% authentic, the internet will come for you.
People get really peeved.
Oh, 2 girls from Canada making Philly cheesesteaks. What do they know about it? You know what? Let's just call this steak and pepper calzones. Let's keep it at that.
All right, that seems like very peaceful. Ooh, those look so good. And I gotta say, filling to crust ratio on point.
Give it to me. Thank you. Now, we need to show you how to do our pizza dough. Kiki and I both do pizza dough the exact same way. We get asked questions all the time. What is your pizza dough recipe? I have to say, it's from our dad, Barbecue Pops.
Don't take credit for it. It's not yours.
I'm not.
I thought you were going to.
Right off the top, I said it's not my recipe.
I'm
It's
surprised.
Barbecue Pops's, and I said we both do it. You're surprised?
Yeah, you take it as your own all the time. I was like, this is how I make pizza.
I literally just said we both do it. The recipe is in the description box below for you, but you can see it come together. It's a few simple ingredients. It's a very easy technique. It doesn't require a lot of effort and a lot of time. A lot of people think dough is this like magical thing that requires a lot of skill. It really doesn't.
I think people get also really preoccupied with the rising time. I think people are like, oh, then I gotta wait and it's gonna rise and I wanna make dinner. If you just think a little bit ahead.
Like basically you gotta think 45 minutes ahead.
Mm-hmm. It's not a ton of time ahead.
It's not. Put it to go while you're preparing your toppings. If you want. If you're worried about the time, because you're right, everybody's worried about time these days. If you want, put it to go, then prepare your toppings.
And you don't need a mixer. A lot of people think too you need like a mixer with a dough hook. And
you can see there's a mixer behind me. I don't use it for this. I like getting in there with my hands. I personally feel that I can feel it out better with my bare hands. Mm-hmm. Look, you can tell, I knew that this one was gonna be right. And I wanna say, honey, I wanted your opinion on this. I feel like pizza dough is better to make in the summer because of the humidity in the air.
I would definitely have to agree with that. I feel like in the winter, it's crusty. It's hard to, it's not supple. It's
drier air.
Yes, it's very hard to get it to look supple.
Based on my hair, it was a frizzy hair day. You know, when it's a frizzy hair day, you're gonna make a good pizza dough.
That's pizza dough weather. It is. That's gonna make a good supple pizza dough.
See, so look at how glorious that looks. Now, what I wanted to do ahead of time here, and yep, you'll be noticing I'm using a brisket knife for this. I just find it helpful, okay?
Well, hey, why not?
I like to portion out my pizza dough ahead of time because if you were just making a pizza, leave it as one, put it to the side, let it rise. But because we're making calzones today, I wanted to separate it into 4 separate chunks just to make the kneading process easier once it rises.
I agree with that.
Once you cut it into 4, just give it a little bit more of a knead to make it into a small ball again.
And the thing that I always like to remember with pizza dough is like keep any of the ugly parts underneath. The top needs to be nice and smooth and it's gonna look great.
Tuck it and smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so I'm only making 2 calzones today. So I saved part of the pizza dough to use in a different recipe. So I'm only gonna let 2 rise. I also like to let my dough rise in the sun in the summertime when it's a nice day because rising takes place when there's heat, so use the sun.
Why not?
Now we're getting into the Philly cheesesteak aspect, okay?
What a gnarly pepper.
It's a gnarly type of pepper. I'm using 3 different peppers here, your bell pepper, your jalapeno pepper, and then this gnarly one here, okay? That's just because that's what I had. That's why I didn't want to technically call this Philly cheesesteak because I know that people are like, you just used your bell peppers, but I like some heat in there.
Why not?
This cheese makes this a game changer. Okay, so most people, when they think of calzones or they think of pizza, they think of shredding cheese. In my experience with calzones, you don't want to use shredded cheese, okay?
Why?
You want to use a mozz that comes in a chunk like that because when you're putting it onto the dough, it makes it an easier process. It's less messy and you can make sure that you get more cheese in there.
I could totally see that.
Yeah, it's a game changer, so trust me on this. So now we have some leftover steak, slice it up, and I also had some leftover mushrooms. So I just threw some mushrooms in there. Again, people are gonna say that this ain't authentic, and I'm not claiming it to be authentic.
I think that would be delicious.
It was. You got your mushrooms, your steak, your peppers, what's not to love there. We're cooking on the Ninja Woodfire outdoor oven. I want the smoke function on there, so make sure that you remember to put in your pellets. and then we can start building our calzones. I didn't know what I wanted to do here when it came to temperature, but I knew that these weren't gonna cook at 700.
That's too high, I think.
Yeah, it's too high, so I went down to 425. Don't forget to put on the wood fire function. I gave myself some more time because I had no clue how long this was gonna take, because this is a new cooker to both of us.
I like to do that too, then you're guaranteed it's not just gonna shut off on you.
Will like to tell you, please make sure that the pizza stone is in the oven when you're preheating it. I went to go press start and something just clicked in my head. I was like, wait, the pizza stone ain't in there. So I ran in the house, went to go get it. We're cooking now.
I like that you took the time to get it going and then started to build your pies, because like, why not? It takes a little bit of time. A lot of people are complaining about that when it comes to this cooker. You can't wait for 5 seconds, people.
Exactly.
Like, let's get some patience.
It's 20 minutes, calm it down. See, now look at the cheese. You're telling me that's not a genius choice.
I do think it's a genius choice, and I feel like if you use shredded, it becomes difficult to crimp the edges because cheese is getting in the way, the shreds are going everywhere, so I think that's a really good call.
Thank you. It's a game changer, and this is as well, okay? This is my own medley of, it's kind of like everything but the bagel seasoning, but homemade.
Ooh.
So it's caraway seeds, sesame seeds, and salt, like thick sea salt. It is so good. I'm gonna gingerly transfer them to the pizza peel with lots and lots of cornmeal underneath so that it can just slide out there. Like, look at how easily that slid out.
And once they're in there, you don't have to worry about touching them again. So you don't have to worry about them like being able to reposition them. Slide them in and then make sure that's where you want them to stay. Because they're staying there for a second until they get cooking.
Now, you will remember, I have already burnt a pizza in this thing.
I'm waiting to see what's gonna happen.
Okay, so I was on edge here. I was like, I'm checking this every couple minutes. So this was after 5 minutes. It looked fine, but then I was like, hey, let's check it again. I needed to keep checking it. Look at how beautiful that looks.
Ooh.
I wasn't letting these burn.
Look at how nice and golden and crusty.
And also super quick.
Wow, that is very quick. And was it smelling super woodsy out here?
It did. It did. It smelled phenomenal because I remembered to turn on or to click the wood fire function for once, because I am known to forget that.
Me too.
I was super, super pleased with myself because there is something so pleasing about making your own dough.
Yes. And about how fast that came together. Those look so beautiful.
Yep, I was so, so pleased with these. And you can see, did that take a lot of effort? No, not at all. I would say not at all that took a lot of effort.
No, and I like that, like, once you get the premise for a recipe like this, you can add different ingredients to the inside.
Look at that cheese.
It looks perfect.
Now, I would like to say, when you're stuffing something, stuff it.
Yes.
I don't like to bite in and it's a pocket of air.
And that's often what happens when you get a calzone out. It's a lot
Not
of dough and not a lot of inside.
Exactly. So there's like a perfect finessing of putting in a lot, but also not overdoing it. So that comes with like experience.
That looks so good.
It was so righteous. Like I just stopped myself from not devouring the entire thing because I was gonna have that for dinner. But you will love that. It's super easy. Now our dough recipe, or barbecue pops's dough recipe, is out there. We will continue to share it because we continue to get questions about it.
And we'll continue to preach the fact that you don't need to buy store-bought dough, if that's one of the biggest rip-offs of the grocery store.
Down with store-bought dough.
And that takes longer because it's often frozen. You got to thaw it out and then you have to let it rise.
It never rises even that right anyway.
It doesn't. No, it totally doesn't. So make your own dough, people.
Sing it, sister.
Yeah.